right, so we're gonna do the evidence tree by starting with the male reproductive system. Now, the parts are the bladder, the prostate, pubic symphysis, urethra, most importantly, the penis glands, urethral opening, testicle, scrotum, epididymis, vas deferens, ejaculatory duct, and seminal vesicle. Now, first, the penis. It provides the means of sexual reproduction and urination. Its structure it's formed by muscles and is the external organ of the reproductive system. Urethra. It is a common conduit to the urinary system and the reproductive system. Therefore, its function is to carry both urine and seminal fluid outside. It's the hole which the sperm and urine can go out the body. The penis glands. Located in the middle of the glans penis is the opening of the urethra, the tube through which semen and urine exits the body. It is the head of the penis. Urethral opening. It is a kind of door that opens when the urethra carries semen or urine, and this door opens to expel them. The testicle makes testosterone and sperm. They are covered by two layers of connective tissue, are soft and contain sperm. Scrotum. All the testicles, nerves, and blood vessels. Provides temperature control for not overheating the testes. Made up of 6 layers. From the innermost to the outermost they are the vaginal tunic of the testicle. It contains 2 sheets, visceral and parietal. Fibrous tunic, the cremaster muscle. Copper's fascia, the dartos and the skin. Of these 6 layers, 2 are muscular, the dartos and the cremaster. Epididymis stores and carries sperm cells, and then brings the sperm to maturity. They are tortuous ducts that run from cranial pole to the caudal of the testicle and continue with the vas deferens. Vas deferens transports mature semen to the urethra when it's prepared for ejaculation. Muscle tubes surrounded by smooth muscle, each about 35 to 45 centimeters. Ejaculatory duct. It carries sperm into the urethra, adding secretions and additives from the prostate necessary for sperm function, while also providing support between the reproductive and urinary systems in men. It is formed by the union or confluence of a vas deferens emanating from a testicle. Seminal vesicle produces fructose that function as a source of energy for sperm and help for its mobility. Are glands formed by soft tissue. Bladder. Urine passes from the kidneys to the bladder, where its main function is to keep the urine and then to expel it. It is a hollow organ in the pelvis with flexible muscular walls. Prostate. It has the function to produce semen. It is made up of fibrous tissue and glandular tissue. Pubic symphysis. Its function is to absorb the impact when we are walking. It is made by iron and calcium since it is a bone.
The bulbourethral. It has the function of lubricating the urethra during ejaculation. It also serves to neutralize residual acidic urine that remains in the urethra. They are the size of a pea, are located under the prostate and has a structure viscous.
The path that sperm follows from the testis to the urethra. The sperm originates mainly in the testicles, where it later travels through the vas deferens until it reaches the urethra, where the sperm is expelled outwards. The contribution to the production of seminal fluid. All of these organs work together to keep the sperm in good condition. We have the organs that produce sperm that are the following. The prostate and the testicle. The prostate is responsible for producing the liquid that is part of the semen, and the testicles are responsible for the production of the sperm. We also have the organs that take care of and feed the sperm, which are epididymis, seminal vesicle, and ejaculatory duct. The seminal vesicle is responsible for nourishing the sperm. The ejaculatory duct is responsible for carrying them to the urethra, and the epididymis is responsible for the transport, storage, and maturation of sperm. The hypothalamus controls the functions of the testes because it secretes a hormone called gonadotropin-releasing hormone that stimulates the anterior pituitary gland to secrete the gonadotropic hormones that control the testes. The gonadotropic hormones are follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. In males, follicle-stimulating promotes the production of sperm in the seminiferous tubules, and luteinizing promotes the production of testosterone by the interstitial cell. The hormones that are involved are gonadotropin-releasing hormone. It is produced in the hypothalamus. Its function is that it causes that the pituitary gland start to make and secrete luteinizing hormone LH and follicle stimulating hormone FSH. The follicle stimulating hormone is produced in the pituitary gland. Its function is that it regulates the development, growth, and maturation of the body. And then the luteinizing hormone is produced in the pituitary gland. Its function is that it stimulates the production of testosterone. All these hormones are controlled by negative feedback mechanisms, which maintain the production of sperm and testosterone within normal ranges. Now we're going to move on to the female reproductive system. It consists of the vagina, cervix, uterus, fallopian tubes, ovaries, myometrium, and endometrium. The oocytes are produced in the ovaries in a process called oogenesis, where an egg is usually produced per month in one of the ovaries and then released into the oviduct in a process called ovulation. So once the egg is released, it is viable for up to 24 hours. So the fallopian tubes extend from the uterus to the ovaries, ending in finger-like projections called fimbriae, with the ciliated lining of the oviducts guiding the egg into the oviduct and sweeping towards the uterus. The fertilization of the egg takes place in the oviduct, while implantation occurs in a vascular tissue called endometrium, where the embryo is embedded when it reaches the uterus. The major components of the female external genitalia are labia majora, clitoris, pubis, labia minora, urethral opening, and the vagina. The functions and structures of the female reproductive system organs. The fallopian tubes. They are extended from the uterus to the ovaries, although they are not attached to the ovaries, ending in finger-like projections known as fimbriae. They have the function of transporting the ovules from the ovaries to the cervix, allowing the entrance of sperms from the external genitals and the uterus to the peritoneum. The ovaries. They are located one on each side of the upper pelvis, have the function of producing oocytes in a process called oogenesis, and also they produce estrogen and progesterone, which are the hormones that control the uterine cycle. The uterus. Hollow muscular organ cycle at the size and shape of an inverted pear. The function of this organ is to feed the in development fetus before the birth. Vagina. It is a long, muscular tube that lies at a 45-degree angle to the lower back. Its function is to receive the penis during the sexual intercourse, also serving as a birth canal and the exit for the monthly menstrual flow. Labia majora. It is formed by two large hair-covered skin folds that extend from the pubis. Their function is to cover and protect the inner and more sensitive structure of the vulva. Labia minora is produced by two small folds lying inside the labia majora. It's extended from the opening of the vagina to circle the clitoris, forming the foreskin. They also have a protective function surrounding the clitoris, urinary and the vaginal orifice. The clitoris contains erectile tissue that becomes filled with blood during sexual stimulation. Its function is by activating the brain to cause a change combinations in the reproductive tract by being able to receive and process sperms, allowing a possible fertilization in the ovules. The hormonal regulation. The hypothalamus and the anterior pituitary gland secrete hormones so the ovaries can control main events of cycles that consist in the ovaries and uterus changes during the reproductive years but without being pregnant. So we can find two cycles. The ovarian cycle, which consists of the events that occur during and after the maturation of an oocyte. On the other hand, we have the uterine cycle, which involves the endometrium changes of the uterus to prepare the arrival of a fertilized egg that will develop there until birth. So the way they relate or the ovarian supports the uterine cycle is when during the first cycle mentioned, the hormones secreted control also the events of the uterine cycle. We have that the gonadotropin releasing hormone GnRH controls the cycles by the stimulation of the follicle stimulating hormone FSH and the luteinizing hormone LH from the anterior pituitary gland. In the ovarian cycle, we have the follicular phase in which the FSH released by the anterior pituitary gland stimulates the follicle development in an ovary. After the follicle matures, oogenesis is initiated, leading to the multiplying of the epithelial cells of the follicle, secreting mainly the estrogen, and this phase comes to an end when the estrogen levels rise, and because of the negative feedback happening, the secretion of FSH stops. Then, in the ovulation, the estrogen spike causes the secretion of the GnRH from the hypothalamus, so then LH surges from the anterior pituitary gland that results in an ovulation of 14 to 28 day cycle. So a secondary oocyte is released from the follicle into the oviduct. And on the last phase, we have the luteal phase, where LH supports the development of the corpus luteum, secreting mainly progesterone, which consists of the follicle cells left behind after ovulation. Now, in the uterine cycle, the estrogen and progesterone produced during the ovarian cycle affect the endometrium, causing the uterus to undergo the uterine cycle, beginning with the menstruation, which consists of endometrium breakdown with blood passing out the vagina. And this is because the low levels of the female sex hormones. The second phase, the proliferative phase, consists of the buildup of the endometrium that becomes more vascular and granular. And this phase is caused by the increase on the production of estrogen by the new developing follicle. And last but not least, we have the last phase, the secretory phase, which consists of the doubling or tripling of the endometrium in thickness and uterine glands producing a thick mucus secretion. Progesterone is secreted by the corpus luteum, which causes this phase. After that, the endometrium is prepared to receive a developing embryo. But if fertilization or implantation doesn't occur, the corpus luteum will start degenerating, resulting in lower sex hormone levels that are going to be followed up by endometrium breakdown and menstruation. Now we're going to talk about the different birth control methods. Abstinence. It is basically not engaging in any sexual contact, which means having no sexual relation. Less than one pregnancy per 100 women in a year, and it is guaranteed that it avoids sexual diseases. Vasectomy. It's a surgery for males that cuts the male vasa deferentia to prevent sperm from entering the urethra. It is 99% effective for avoiding pregnancy but it doesn't protect against sexual transmitted diseases. Tubal ligation. It's a surgery for females that cuts or seals the fallopian tubes permanently to prevent the fertilization of eggs by sperm. It is also 99% effective for avoiding pregnancy, but won't protect against sexual transmitted disease. Oral contraception. It's a pill for women that has hormones that stop fertilization. 99% effective for avoiding pregnancy, but still won't protect from sexual transmitted disease. Contraceptive implants. A small, flexible plastic rod placed under the skin in the upper arm that releases hormone progesterone into the bloodstream to prevent pregnancy. It can last up to 3 years. It is 99% effective against pregnancy, but doesn't protect against sexual transmitted diseases. UID, a small intrauterine device in the shape of a T that is inserted in the uterus to prevent pregnancy by releasing copper into the womb that alters the cervical mucus and makes the sperm difficult to survive. It is 99% effective to avoid pregnancy, but doesn't protect against sexual transmitted diseases. Diaphragm, a shallow cup made of soft silicone that is inserted in the vagina to cover the cervix. It contains chemical that stops sperm from moving and from reaching egg. This one is from 92 to 90% effective to avoid pregnancy, but it doesn't protect against diseases. Male condom. It's a non-porous latex covering that is placed in an erected penis to prevent sperm from reaching the female reproductive tract. This one is 99% effective for both avoiding pregnancy and sexual transmitted diseases. Female condom. It's a soft, thin, synthetic latex placed in the vagina to prevent sperm from reaching the womb. This one is 95% effective for both avoiding pregnancy and sexual transmitted diseases. Coitus interruptus. It's a method that requires practice, which consists of withdrawing the penis from the vagina during sex just before it ejaculates. This one is only 78% effective for avoiding pregnancy, and it doesn't protect from sexual transmitted diseases. Natural family planning. It's a method where a woman monitors and records different fertility signals during the menstrual cycle to work out if there are any signs of pregnancy. This one is 99% effective to avoid pregnancy, but doesn't protect against sexual transmitted diseases. And last but not least, morning after pill. It's a pill that contains high levels of estrogens and progestin that gives negative feedbacks, inhibition of FSH and LH secretion, which causes the ovaries to cease secretion of their estrogen and progesterone, thereby blocking implantation. This one is only 75% effective to avoid pregnancy, but it doesn't protect against sexually transmitted diseases. And that's pretty much it. Goodbye.